Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
Dude, Funkhouser, play that Highly Suspect song again. I cannot stop listening to this thing. Play it. Yeah. So good. So good. It's just like, it's a wall of sound. It washes over you. I've been listening to that song for a while. Like, I play it on the other radio stations that I'm on. Maybe you should turn it down, Funkhouser. They might drop the F-bomb at this point. I can't remember. But, like, I've been listening to that song for months now. And we started playing it on one or two of the stations that I'm on, and then it just kind of became this thing. And it's a huge, huge song, but it's one of those ones that I liked immediately. And then every single time I listened to it, it grew on me more. There's this weird tendency in all forms of media now, because media we're catered to on a second-to-second basis. And I always trot out this particular story, but nowadays, songs have to strike you within the first 5 seconds, or click, you're on to the next thing. And people that are making records and people that are promoting records and record companies are aware of this. Didn't used to be that way. Do you remember when you started listening to, say, Pearl Jam back in the day? Pearl Jam's actually a great example, because you know the song Alive. That song was the hugest song of the year when it came out. Hugest song of a 2-year period when it came out. And you know what's really interesting about that? Now, if you're wondering what the hell a song is about, there's like a million interviews on YouTube of songwriters and singers and musicians and pop stars and rock stars explaining their songwriting process, what a song is about, what chord changes they wound up using. And you know exactly what a song is about from the get-go in this day and age. Do you remember when you first heard this? You were struck by it and you listened to it over and over again. Maybe you're doing homework and you had to get up and rewind the tape to hear it over and over again. But if you remember, the whole world was consumed by this song and this band when it came out. Yet nobody knew until over a year later what the song Alive was about. There was all this speculation. You remember reading in like Rolling Stone magazine, what is the song Alive really about? And finally, Eddie Vedder came out and said, after the song had been a huge phenomenon that had come and gone, what Alive is about is me finding out that the guy who I thought was my father was not, and what that did to my life. Nowadays, things have to cater to you at a second's notice. And there's nothing wrong with being immediate and arresting, but by needing to be catered to in a second's notice, by shortening the old attention span, you miss out on some really cool stuff. And that Highly Suspect song has this thing where it does grab you immediately just because you go, whoa, I haven't really heard anything like this in a while, or maybe even ever. But you can't tell what the song is about. And every single time, for me anyway, I listen to it, I get sucked in deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think that's so awesome and so valuable and so unbelievably rare. And I started to really listen to the lyrics of that song after about the 30th or 40th listen, after I got over the initial, wow, this is killer, this rocks. I started really hearing what homeboy that sings the song was saying. Get up off your knees, boy. Stand face to face with your God and find out who you are. I started wondering, what the hell is that about? I mean, I like the sound of it. Get up off your knees? Wow. That's a good thing to do. I believe in standing up for yourself. Stand face to face with your God. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a big topic. That's a big subject you've just broached there. What is going on here? Find out who you are. And you know, it's interesting because I had some access, like I had some sneaky access that perhaps I abused in this situation. And one of the guys that helps manage them is a dude that I've known for a while. And so like, I was like, all right, man, I give. What is this song all about? He's like, well, it could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. But really, what it's all about is finding out who you are. That line, find out who you are. I'm human. It says, look within yourself. There's so much going on. There's so much going on in the world. There are political, religious, fanatical wingdings telling you what to think, feel, and say every single day. And this is a song that gives us a valuable message in this day and age. It's saying, look within yourself. You know who you are, and you know in your heart what is right. So valuable.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Every day you're going and working, running that rat race, that pace and that place will leave a bad taste.
One more time, Funkhouser. Let's take a listen to My Name is Human. You know why I think that message is so valuable? Know yourself. Get up off your knees. Find out who you are. There's so many people telling you what to do, say, think in this day and age. Religious, political, fanatical people that want to hijack your thinking and hijack your opinion and hijack your words and hijack your internet feed. And no matter which side of the fence they're coming from, they're ultimately trying to convince you of something. And that's a song that says, forget all the noise. Ignore it. Look within yourself. Look in your heart and look in your mind. You know what's right in this world. You know who you are. I think that's an incredibly valuable thing. I think that's incredibly valuable, especially because of an experience I had yesterday. I was like, oh, this is how far we've come. This is how eager people are to argue about politics. Having a chit-chat about a fairly innocuous thing around the office yesterday. And it was, I think it was some sort of like stupid survey. You know, like, what's your favorite this? This is what it says about you. And somebody got a hold of one of these things, and someone said to me, what is your favorite ice cream? We were going around, Funkhouser, what's your favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream. Cookies
and cream? Yeah, yeah. See, like, people have a favorite ice cream. And it's not something that you would think would be easily politicized. However, as my friends in Texas would say, hold my beer. We can do this. What's political about cookies and cream, Funkhouser?
What's political about it?
Yeah, what's political about liking cookies and cream ice cream?
I don't know.
Seemingly nothing. And the type of ice cream that you or I prefer, wouldn't be, you think?
I never mixed politics with my frozen,
with your ice cream? Well, I have, and it does not taste good. I was forced to mix politics with my ice cream, and it was not a happy experience. Like, first and foremost, I rarely eat ice cream. Why? I've got this sort of like lactose intolerant thing going on, and it's weird because I don't know if it's lactose or what it is, but I know that it's a calculated risk eating dairy. For whatever reason, I can eat all the cheese in the world and I'll feel just fine. No, I don't even have to deal with that. But if I eat ice cream or the wrong kind of frozen yogurt, I know that the day is essentially over. I'm going to have to devote a serious amount of time to taking indigestion medication and lying there on the bed feeling sorry for myself and like I did something stupid. But there are certain foods that are delicious enough to where you don't care. You just go, I know this is going to tear my insides apart, but I am still going to be doing it. And I like bananas. Do you like bananas, Funkhouser?
Not really.
Not really. See, I'm not a fan of a banana. Like if someone says, "Here, have a banana," But you combine ice cream and bananas and walnuts and chocolate. I am a happy camper. And I found this out because Ben and Jerry's created that Chunky Monkey stuff. You ever had that?
Oh, who, me? You talking to me?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It'll turn you into...
And it,
Oh, well, see, I mean, this is a thing. You know, it's a personal taste thing. Mm-hmm. It is subjective. And I was like, in the past, I probably would have told you mint chocolate chip. But I tried for the first time a little while ago some Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey. So as we're having this conversation around the office, about ice cream and the fact that I enjoy a scoop of Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey to the point where I'm willing to curl up in stomach-wrenching pain just for the opportunity to taste its deliciousness, somebody who I work with in this building, who's on the air, who shall remain nameless, with absolutely no sort of sense of irony whatsoever. I thought he was joking at first, wasn't joking. He was like, Ben and Jerry's, how could you support that lefty commie red organization? What the hell? And I guess they're from, where are they from? Vermont, and I think they've made, Obama ice cream or a Bernie Sanders flavor of ice cream or something like that. And he was like, I don't know how you could even bring that up, man. I just don't know how you could subject your taste buds to something that has been so clearly made in hate and trying to hijack the democratic process. I was like, at what point did ice cream become politics? At what point were you able to jump all over me for saying I enjoy a scoop of Chunky Monkey? Now, I'm aware you have to be a conscientious consumer. You have to pick out what it is that you're shopping for, bearing in mind where it comes from and all of the above. But I don't think elections are being won and lost over a scoop of Chunky Monkey. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, shut up. And it's that level of everybody is so eager to pile on about anything. Like, the sky's blue. Okay, you climate change denier. Sure, go ahead and say that. Buy into Trump's myth. The sky's blue. You just think it looks blue. That's an alternative fact. Oh, God. I like Chunky Monkey ice cream. Oh, red coat, get back to England. It's just freaking ridiculous. And for that reason, the message laid down by Highly Suspect, look into yourself, know who you are, more valuable now than ever before. Don't be swayed by people that try to tell you you're eating commie ice cream.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do.
So, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you probably know that I do not necessarily fall down into any easy categorizable political party. I refuse to swear allegiance to anything because I think when you do that, you negate critical thinking within yourself. I think it's an absolute travesty that you have to be registered as anything to take part in the primaries, and that is part of the tiny piece of conspiracy theorist in my mind will tell you that is an effort. That is an effort to dumb you down and trick you into a knee-jerk reactionary vote that will preclude you from actually paying attention to the facts. That's what I think the whole deal is with making you register as a Republican or a Democrat if you want to take part in our primaries is all about, and I don't like it, not one little bit. So, as we've established, I don't believe in swearing allegiance to the left or right. I look at every issue as it comes, and I don't know. The issue of education is like a lot of things in this country. The issue of education is like a lot of things in this country in that I think the left and the right are both very passionate about the fact that it needs to be improved. There are certain universal things that you want in this world. If you are an American, you want to be able to put a roof over your head. You want to be able to do meaningful work that pays for that roof. You want for there to be more money at the end of the month instead of more month at the end of the money. And if you have kids, you want kids to have a shot. And part of kids having a shot is kids having a shot at an education. And an education, I believe, is, look, it's an old cliche. Some people will call me lefty saying this. Some people call me righty saying this. And this really depends on your views as to what the best solution is to the education problem is in this country. I just believe that education is a cure-all for so much of what ails America. See, education's more than just going to school. Education's more than just getting grades that allow you to get into a college, that allow you to get a degree, that allows you to get a job, that will allow you to pay for that roof over the head of you and your potential children moving forward. Education is an opening of the mind. Education is a sense of possibility. Education is an idea that there is more to this world than the life that you lead. Education is something that I think will lead to, well, I'll put it to you this way. A kid with an education, and this has been statistically proven, even if it wasn't my gut, but a kid with an education is less likely to do something like hold up a liquor store. A kid with an education on the other side of the world is less likely to strap a bomb to themselves and end their life in the name of something that they've been brainwashed into believing. Education is so much of what will set us all free eventually if we one day find a way to get it right.
It's great to be back here in New York City. I'm having a great time. I'm staying in a nice hotel not too far from here. They even put me in the honeymoon suite. Guess it was the only room available. Yeah. Staying with a nice couple from Nebraska. Yeah, getting some nice shots on this trip. Some nice shots. Hey, you got to do what you can, you know, because life is tough. It really is. You got to make an effort. A couple months ago, I raised $37,000 for all the homeless people in America. $37,000. No, please. I'm not looking for that. Anyway, like I said, life is tough, so I kept most of that money for myself. But I made the effort. That's all I'm saying. See, sometimes we don't appreciate how lucky we are. You know, we don't realize how bad off other people have it. You know what I mean? Even in America, people complain, right? They complain about crime, education. I think the education system is great, just the way it is. There's kids in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, 7 years old, could already speak fluent Spanish. Unbelievable. And I don't know what's going on in the high schools, you know, with the students and the teachers. I saw a bumper sticker. It said, "Our child is the proud parent of his teacher's baby." What's going on? And crime now is lower than it's ever been before. Probably because all the good stuff has been stolen already. You know what I mean? I read about these two guys last year. They robbed a bank. They didn't want to be recognized, so they pulled nylon stockings over their heads, you know? Actually, these guys used pantyhose, so they had to walk really close together, you know, when they did it. But they did it. They made the effort. You know what I mean?
The great Kevin Nealon on crime in the educational system. Oh, Funkhouser. How long do we have?
Like 10 minutes, dude. 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Bro.
All right. Before we do the news, I got to play you this thing. You know how I've put forward this theory on many an occasion that politicians fall into two categories. Whether you're a lefty politician, a righty politician, a libertarian, a centrist, whatever the hell you are, politicians fall into two categories. And those categories are ones with legitimate public concern that really want to serve the public. The other side of the equation, and I think this is more the majority than the minority, politicians are folks that just have a burning desire for recognition. People that get involved in the political spectrum have a burning desire for recognition. They want to be on TV. They want newspaper articles written about them. But here's the problem. They're not especially good looking. They cannot act. They can't sing. They can't dance. They can't write anything more interesting than legislation. They are incapable of entertaining folks in any way, shape, or form. They don't play an instrument. If they do, they're not very good at it. They're really just kind of looking for some sort of shining light upon them. And if you are talentless with very little to add to a conversation, entering the world of politics is a great way to get that recognition and idol worship you crave without actually having the talent. This is how I feel about many people who enter the world of politics in general. And occasionally the universe provides you with a little signal that you could be right about something. Did you know that Kellyanne Conway did stand-up comedy, Funkhouser?
Doesn't she do that every day?
No. And I see what you did there.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody uncovered a video of Kellyanne Conway doing a stand-up comedy routine back in 1998. Let's have a listen to the comedic stylings of Kellyanne Conway.
Before I get started, I want to tell you the funniest thing happened to me today. You know when you have one of those days where not one but two things that never ever happens to you? I'm walking down the street, I look up, and I see Haley's comment. I get back to the office, and I'm accurately quoted in a Ralph Hello article. It was one of those days. But you know, everybody's wondering about my leg. It's the first thing they ask. Kellyanne, what happened to your leg? I'm like, well, everybody heard I was going to be in this comedy show, and they're like, break a leg. So I did. You think blondes are dumb. What's the one difference?
Oh, it's awkward.
Between a pundit and Ally McBeal. Ally McBeal's on a major network. I'm not just a pundit, though, and I'm hardly a pundit, but I am a pollster. I run this place called the Polling Company right down the street a block away. Yay. And the people whose salaries I pay volunteered to come tonight, I'm sure. Yeah. New survey's out. It's not ours, but I wish it were, because the new survey says that 70% of men think about sex all of the time. The other 30% are lying.
You're not special. I'm tired of your shit.
Oh, and you know what? Hey, look, I have to say, oh, man. You know, by the time this thing airs in other places, this will be old news. But Mary Tyler Moore just passed away. At the age of 80.
Here seeing it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, 2017.
The world is getting less funny.
I guess it is. I guess the world is getting less funny. She was apparently in really rough condition. She was taken to the hospital in Connecticut prior to her death. Man, I'm sorry. I need a moment. That actually really bums me out. Mary Tyler Moore, there's some, look, I think now more than ever before, there is an access to truth and a purity of thought that the world of satire has. And the ability to make people laugh and smile through uncertain times. And look, you might have voted for Trump. You might be one of the people that think Trump is the coming of the apocalypse. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because we are all bonded together, and I keep reminding all of us of this, but we're all bonded together through a tremendous lack of certainty. There's a giant question mark hanging over so many aspects of our lives. There's a certain amount of confidence that has been instilled in people that are all for it and voted for Trump, which is roughly half the country. But even with that bolstered confidence, there's still that wonder, that gnawing, that doubt in the pit of one's stomach, going, okay, we're up and running. And there are some very big changes happening. And in a lot of ways, that could be good, but this is a massive shift. How's it going to land? Where are we all going to end up? In these situations, people that make us laugh, people that make us smile, are incredibly valuable. That whole goof, laughter really is the best medicine. Well, here's the thing about that. When you're laughing, when you are focused on something else, when you, for an hour or two, maybe 20 minutes, manage to escape the everyday thoughts and worries that are plaguing you, that level of escapism, that level of being able to take a break from that which is gnawing at you, is actually really, really good for you. We talked about this a little bit on the show the other day, but a buddy of mine, a soldier that uses meditation to help him cope with his PTSD. Was trying to break it down and explain it to me. And he said it basically takes you out of your life for a second, and it allows you to focus away from the things that are eating at your mind. And I was like, so what does it feel like? He's like, you ever been really engrossed in a really good book and you kind of forget the rest of the world? He's like, that's really what it is. Or you're really sucked into a TV show. And then he was like, or comedy. Man, comedy, if you can find something that makes you laugh, it's essentially the same thing. For however long you're laughing, for however long you're consumed by what this person is doing to entertain you, you are doing something incredibly valuable for your nervous system. And he was like, I enjoy going to see stand-up comedy. He was like, I treat my PTSD with therapy, with medication, but also with meditation and going to see entertainment. Stand-up comedy is a big, big deal to me. I was like, that's fascinating. And you talk to your doctor about this and they say it's valid. Yeah, laughter truly is, in many cases, and in this case, for a soldier that suffers from PTSD, the best medicine. And so not only do humorists, the people that make us laugh, the satirists of this world, have an access to truth that people are bogged down in politics and being forced to take sides and say the right thing in the news media, whether you're left or right or whatever. Satirists have access to the truth that a lot of other people don't. And people that practice that practice satire and do make us laugh, they're providing us with, in an interesting way that we might not have even noticed, a real therapy. They're actively making the world a better place, which is crazy to think. But if someone can make you laugh, they're making your life better. If they can make a room full of people laugh, they're making that chunk of the world a better place while they're doing it. If they can reach millions upon millions of people on television, take them out of their everyday stresses for a half hour to an hour at a time, the way someone like Mary Tyler Moore did for years and years and years, they have, whether it was their intention or not, made the world a better place. And for that reason, even though she's had obviously a fantastic innings, having made it to age 80, the loss of Mary Tyler Moore and people like her, that's a loss to all of us. Good night, Mary Tyler Moore, and thank you for the laughs.
Let's be real, everything since 95 has kind of sucked, and I didn't want to be the one to bring this up, but really what the hell is really going on? Ice Cube is making Disney flicks, he used to hang with Farrakhan, Black Flag and Bad Brains, and tagging up the subway trains, remembering to be scatterbrains, man, those were the good old days. Now all these bands are streams, got dreams of getting paid, but they don't know how to rock a show, just dream of interweb fame.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio. Now, more AD on the radio.
This is an interesting one. Did you know that, I don't know who decides these sorts of things on a global stage, but did you know, Funkhouser, that the U.S. is no longer considered to be a democracy? The U.S. has been downgraded to a quote-unquote flawed democracy. Here's the thing. People will be very quick to point the finger of blame at our president. Not Trump's fault, apparently. How has America been downgraded from a democracy to a flawed democracy? Why are we no longer considered to be a full democracy? And why is it not Trump's fault? Whose fault is it? We'll get into it after we get into a little bit of news. What is going on in the world, Funkhouser?
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser. Barry Funkhouser.
What?
Barry Funkhouser.
Hey-o.
Very Funkhouser.
What's up?
Very good. Very good. How have you been, Funkhouser? How's everything going? How's everything working out?
It's flu season. And, in radio, when one person gets it, everybody gets it.
Those little sort of like dust covers that you put over microphones, those like foam rubber things. Do you use one of those, or do you not?
I do, but I use the one my only one. I only
use your personal. Yeah. See, I use a tissue to remove the one that's on. First and foremost, I think if you need one of those things, you're not a pro. There's a way to talk across a mic that is going to avoid the pops. The other thing about that, he said, in a slightly less snotty manner, is those things are gross. They're like, everybody uses them all day long. You know what it is? It's like the idea of everybody talking into the same dust cover on the same microphone every single day. It's like having a community condom. It's not sanitary, and people do it all through our industry, and I hate it. So the cold and flu season has gripped your office. You've seen people around you go down.
I'm struggling, but I'm
really.
I'm
do you think
surviving.
It's approaching?
No, it's just lingering with everybody. Everyone still keeps showing up, but no one's sick as a dog.
It used to be before we, peek behind the radio curtains here for a second, but it used to be that there used to be like a full-time guy or girl at pretty much every single radio station, and what they were there for was fill in and swing. You remember this concept, Funkhouser? This is probably how you got your start, fill in and swing.
Watch it, buddy. Those words mean different things now.
Right, yeah. But is that how you got your start?
Yeah. Mm.
And basically, a fill-in swing person was somebody who would be paid a full-time salary with benefits to just be sort of a catch-all, Like, you weren't paid much. It wasn't like but it was a great way to get your foot in the door, because every time somebody went on vacation, you'd get to fill in. Or if somebody got sick, you'd fill in for them as well. And that's because the way of thinking used to be like, wait, you've got the sniffles? This is a radio station. Our upper respiratory tracts pay all the mortgages and bills around here. If you're sick, stay home. Use your sick day. We'll have the fill-in or swing person fill in. That used to be the thing. Now there's no such thing as a fill-in person, someone that's paid full-time to just, cover things and catch situations as they happen. So now... Are you sick? Yes, I'm sick. Do you have a note from your doctor? Yes, I got a note from my doctor. Okay, come in, do what you can, then go home. So basically, enter the place of business, spread your germs, and then leave having done your dirty work. That's what it's like now. So if one person goes down in any radio station building, it's almost 100% certain whatever it is will work its way to you at some stage in the game. So what you have to understand Funkhouser is doing right now is basically he's hunkered down in a corner in a bunker of health, trying everything he can to stave off the inevitable. It's like, yeah. So good luck with that, Funkhouser. I hope it works out.
Yeah, I'm fighting it. It's good. What's enough to read the news. How about that?
Okay.
The Oscar nominations were announced yesterday.
Yep, include some of Hollywood's biggest names. Record number of black nominees. Yet, it's a white guy nominated for playing a jazz musician. Go figure. Meryl Streep nominated for a 20th time. To which Trump replied, like I said, overrated. Go on.
Meryl Streep got her 20th Oscar nomination.
Oscar voting is rigged, believe me, replied our president. It's one of those things, like, I thought, like, there's so many people that were like, yeah, go Meryl Streep, when she got up and she trotted out her anti-Trump thing at the Golden Globes not so long ago. I didn't have a ton of time or respect for it. But I wish our president hadn't been thin-skinned enough to be like, Meryl Streep's an overrated actor. Like,
Yeah, he should have been like you.
Like me?
Yeah, not
How am I?
thin-skinned, like don't really care. You don't really have any time for it, no patience, too busy doing other things.
Hey, I'm busy running the country, or getting ready to run the country at that point. Sorry she feels that way. She'll be proven wrong once she sees things start to turn around in this country. And until such a time, you're going to have to take me at my word. And my word's all I got because you elected me. Feel good about this. That would be my response if I were president. If I was even going to acknowledge it. And I think it'd be fun to acknowledge it, you know, like you're a reality show president. Acknowledge it, but do it in a way that brings forth humanity and trust in people. Not, she's overrated, because clearly not an overrated actress. I don't find her to be an informative person that I want to get my political news, views, or opinions from. But you know what she's good at? Being in movies and making people enjoy those movies. Anyways, do not get me started. But that's what I wish the president would do in these situations. I wish he would go, hey, well, look, you know, not everybody's going to like me. Not everyone's going to like every single decision I make, but I promise you that what I'm doing is honestly in my heart what I believe to be the very best for all of us. And hopefully you'll see the proof in the pudding when you see the results soon. I'm just going to concentrate on moving the country forward, and I'm not going to get involved in a war of words on social media with one of my detractors. It comes with the territory. The bigger you get, the more powerful you are, the more noteworthy you are, the more people you're going to have that want a piece of you, that want to make fun of you, that will advance their careers by making fun of you. It's a whole industry. I'm a goofball on the radio. People at other radio stations talk smack about me all the time. Too busy moving forward to look back and see what they're doing. I don't know. I hear things, but do they bother me? No. And if I can do it, I know the president of these United States can too.
Boy, you should talk a bunch, but then I've got a hunch that if I step to you, you'd back right down, can't see it.
Fire ants and free thoughts. All the comforts of what we call home. This is KPRC AM 950. Real Texas. Real talk.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhouser, let's, well, before we talk about...
Unlock your radio. We do it on the radio, unlock your radio. That's in my head all day, thanks to you.
That's a catchy little ditty I came up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, you got the lyrics wrong.
No, those are my own lyrics.
Oh, those are your own lyrics? See?
Unlock your radio.
It's, yeah. There you go. Before we talk about the fact that America on the world stage has been downgraded from a democracy to something else, and we'll discuss how this is, before you go pointing the finger of blame, not Donald Trump's fault. Before we do that, let's get through what remains of the news. Let's do a little more of this, Funkhouser.
Due to a glitch, the Academy Awards website accidentally listed Tom Hanks and Amy Adams as nominees.
Yeah, the Academy says it wasn't a glitch. It's just an alternative fact. An alternative nomination. Again, to peel back the radio curtain a little bit, you kind of get ratings. Like it used to be, you would get ratings every 3 months. Once a quarter, the ratings would come out, and you would be like, oh, God, what's it going to be? I hope we've been doing the right things for the last quarter of a year of our life. And now we get like second to second, weekly, daily, monthly trends all the time. We know exactly where we are at any given time. And I got like a weekly trend the other day that I didn't like the look of for one of the stations I program. And I just wrote back to the person that sent me the data. I was like, fake news. I question the validity of our online music testing. This is an alternative fact. That has now entered the vernacular. And you know what? It's going to be used and abused. And you know what? Was it Kellyanne Conway that created the term alternative fact, Funkhouser?
Well, most people say that, but it may
whoever
have been someone else.
Whoever it was. Yeah. The idea that Kellyanne Conway invented the term alternative fact is fake news. Whatever the case may be, I like the term alternative fact, and I use it a lot now. It's fun. I'm having fun with it. And one day, I'm using it ironically, but one day, I am going to, probably around contract negotiations, I am going to use it dead serious. We think you're worth this much. Well, that's an alternative fact. I look forward to that time. Go on.
After 2 straight years of only nominating white actors, this year the Oscars nominated 7 non-white actors.
Which was, I think something that people that were angry about this sort of thing regarded as progress. Progress that they then promptly erased by giving a Best Director nomination to Mel Gibson. Go on.
Did they really do that?
I think so.
Come on.
Well, you know what? Should it be a meritocracy? Like, horrible human being, good at making movies. Should he not get an award for making movies? Should he be getting a humanitarian award? Someone that is a nice to women award? A non sort of like should he be getting an award for being a humanitarian? Should he be getting an award for being sympathetic to religions other than his own? No, absolutely not. Should he be getting an award for making movies? He might be a reproachable, reprehensible human being that you wouldn't want to spend any time with socially. But he makes good movies. I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just asking the question. Should the fact that he is a screaming D-bag stop him from being awarded nominations for movies that he's made that people really enjoy? Should that be the case, Funkhouser?
I wouldn't vote for him.
Yeah.
How's that for an answer?
Well, if you are... who is it? The Hollywood Foreign Press or whatever? No, that's Golden Globes, right?
I think so.
I don't know. Whoever votes for Oscars, if Funkhouser ever receives that prestigious position, he will not be voting for Mel Gibson. There you go.
Yep.
And you know what? I mean, here's the thing. It could take away from your enjoyment of people like that. You know what I really love about Leonardo DiCaprio, besides, his inherent dreaminess? You know that Leonardo DiCaprio is essentially the Jack Nicholson of his time, that he basically bathes in hot and cold running supermodels. But that's sort of all you know about Leonardo DiCaprio. And I think that's cool because I'm not distracted when I watch him in a movie. I believe into the character that I buy into the character that he's playing. I believe it. That movie, Catch Me If You Can. You ever seen that, Funkhouser?
No, have
true
not.
Story. True story of a con man and a forger, and just absolutely like amazing movie. And you watch it and you forget that Leonardo DiCaprio is playing that person. Massive celebrity, but because you're not reading details of his personal life every single day on every single form of media there is, it's not a distraction from that. Whereas for you, if you were a voting member of whoever it was that decides the Oscars, Mel Gibson is a D-bag to the point where it's distracting to me and I can't enjoy his movies. There's that validity to what you say. Go on.
Well, the official website for the Academy Awards mistakenly listed Tom Hanks as a nominee for Best Actor.
Yeah, even more embarrassing, they mistakenly listed Vin Diesel as an actor. What else?
Former Mickey Mouse Club castmates Ryan Gosling and Justin Timberlake both got nominated for Oscars.
Mickey Mouse Club? Oscar nominations, yeah. Suck it, actors at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Too bad, so sad. I'm sorry. What else?
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone received Oscar nominations for their roles in La La Land.
And let me be the first to say that it's great to see rich, attractive white people finally catch a break.
Fine.
Go on.
Mel Gibson's girlfriend gave birth to a baby boy.
Which is Mel's 9th child now. Baby apparently has his mother's deep brown eyes and his father's rabid anti-Semitism. Go on.
He's just a baby. Mel Gibson now has 9 kids from 3 different women.
That's enough for his own baseball team. Or Reich. It's not up to me to choose. Go on.
A writer from SNL has been suspended for an offensive tweet about Barron.
Yeah, well, because she takes cheap shots at defenseless people on Twitter, so she's now, I believe, the front runner for the 2020 Republican presidential nomination. What else?
An SNL writer has been suspended for a tweet about Barron Trump, as we just said.
Suck it, First Amendment. Continue.
An article in the San Jose Mercury News alleges Stacey Dash is the most hated woman in America.
Really? The most hated? Challenge accepted, replied Kellyanne Conway. Apparently, San Jose Mercury News never heard of Farrah Abraham. Go on.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre director Tobe Hooper turned 74 today.
Yeah. That's the guy that created the legendary villain Leatherface. There you go. Go on.
People are betting on whether Lady Gaga will have a wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl. Come on.
What do you suppose?
I got 5 on it.
Well, you know where the last wardrobe malfunction happened, right? When Janet Jackson was in which city?
Wait, I forget. No, that
Houston, Texas.
Relate
You know where
to
the
us
Super
at all. What are you talking about?
All right. Do you know where the last wardrobe malfunction at a Super Bowl performance happened?
Houston.
Yeah. You know where the Super Bowl is this year?
No. Houston?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what's funny? It's sort of like a Houston landmark at the moment. You can go to the store where Janet Jackson bought the piece of nipple jewelry that was revealed during the Super Bowl halftime show. And you can see where it all happened. And what happened, the FCC thing, what happened was something that affected all of us. All of us. Like, do you remember when that happened, Funkhouser? Were you in radio at that time?
I was being sarcastic earlier when I said I didn't because it affected us so greatly.
Yeah, see, I mean, here's the thing. Hold on one second. Talk about your experience of what happened after the FCC thing. I'm getting blown up by my boss. You had a meeting. What did they say?
I had a meeting every week, and I sat down, and we went through everything, step by step. First thing is how to talk to people. Second thing is what safe spaces are. Third thing is what not to say on the radio, and make sure you know how to push the button in case the button needs to be pushed. And sign this paperwork verifying that you know how to push the button when the button pushing time comes. And, that's basically how it went down for about 4 years.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely crazy. It changed the shape of broadcast as we know it. And I wasn't in radio yet when this happened, but I was informed that, hey, you should know you're getting into radio right as all the fun and money is going out of it. Because before Janet Jackson got her nipple out on the Super Bowl, before the wardrobe malfunction, we could do what the hell we want and everything was grand. Now things are radically different. So it's kind of like this weird, hallowed yet cursed ground that you can go to the body jewelry shop in Houston where she bought the nipple ring that was revealed on the air during the Super Bowl halftime show as the wardrobe malfunction. So we're back in Houston. We are back in Houston again for this Super Bowl. And people are betting on whether Lady Gaga will have a wardrobe malfunction. And you say yes? You got 5 on it?
I got 5 on it. What square do I put mine? What number is that on the fantasy square?
I don't know how you bet against it. I mean, it's Lady Gaga. Her entire wardrobe is kind of a malfunction in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
How much time do we have left?
Like 2 minutes. Wrap it up.
2 minutes? All right, let's wrap this bad boy up, this puppy up. The United States has fallen from the ranks of what business intelligence providers call full democracies and can now only be considered a, quote, flawed democracies. Now, before everyone starts pointing the finger of blame at the White House and going, aha, Trump's only been in office for a few short days and this has already happened. Not so much. Country's new president, Donald Trump. Interesting. There's actually like an interesting article on this on AOL News. Who, by the way, do an interesting job at putting stuff together. Look, there's going to be bias pretty much everywhere you look from every single source. But I think AOL, like, they really just a lot of the time care about getting some facts together and blurting them out and trying to get you to click on it because they have an interesting headline. I think they themselves have been downgraded to the point where they're like, nobody cares about our opinion. We're just going to spew out some facts. And I always look for a lack of editorializing on things. And interestingly enough, little teeny AOL does that sometimes. But Donald Trump in the White House. And he's tweeting about sending the feds into Chicago to deal with the crime problem there. And there's all these sorts of things happening that would make people go, ooh, that sounds like martial law. Is that, Is that democracy? Is that what's responsible for the downgrade in our democracy? No. Apparently, popular trust in government, in elected representatives and political parties, left, right, up, down, side to side, have fallen to unprecedentedly low levels in the U.S. This is what the report says. Popular trust in government has fallen to extremely low levels. This has been a long-term trend and one that preceded the election of Trump as a U.S. president. By tapping into a deep strain of political disaffection with the functioning democracy, we have now downgraded ourselves. So whose fault is it? Well, I believe we can point the finger of blame squarely at all politicians and realize that it is now more necessary than ever to believe in ourselves.
You know how a lot of times